and they're all trying to work together, and the employees talking at lunch and on different teams, and they're realizing how convoluted this process is. And that's just one example. But when you leave it to chance, leaders are going to do what they've done. And before I leave this slide, I'll add one more thing in there. And that is, and again, there's exceptions, but I think the general rule proves, or the exception proves the general rule in a sense. All right, so dynamic leadership. I already talked a little bit about the metaphor. So team metaphor for growth and profit organization is the only one I would use. Now you can argue that, but if you've ever worked in an environment with a family metaphor, there's problems. One, how do you deal with discipline issues with a family? How do you deal with disparity in pay when you want to pay for performance with the family? How do you combat the patriarchal matriarchal thing that happens with the family? When you go with a team, everybody has a common goal. Everybody's pulling in the same direction. What's nice about the team metaphor, and this gets back to the 10X, when you're using a team metaphor and you're embodying the principles, when I'll be talking about with dynamic leadership, flexibility, adaptability, etc., consistency, discipline, commitment, the difference between your business with a team metaphor and a sports team with the team metaphor is that the sports team has an opponent that's trying to stop every play. This is why they have practice during the week. This is why they get together. This is why they have simple plays that everybody knows, and they have audibles, and because they want to be able to adapt and adjust when the opponent does something different. In business, what happens is because there's no opponent, it can become boring, right? Especially when you look at, in response to VUCA, we have consistency, simplicity, disciplined actions. It can become boring and we start trying to do other things. Or in the bureaucratic environment, we create our own opponents inside. Same with the political environment. We create our own opponents. We don't do it intentionally. It just happens. And this is why it's so important to know who you're hiring as a leader, because as you hire these people in, if they're coming from an environment that was political, they're going to bring that political backdrop into your organization. I know in the manufacturing, in the big manufacturing days in the US, that often happened where product managers, brand managers would sort of be fighting against each other because the president was pulled from the best performing brands. And then the CEO was pulled from the presidents and vice presidents, in a sense.